Sometimes I can also go a little sideways. I was asked to go and visit an old lady's bedside and chat by her daughter, who said she was a friend of my mother's. And it's funny just how many friends your mother has after you've been on TV or books come out or you've been in the cinema somewhere. But she asked and I turned up. I was shown into a room where this pleasant old lady lay and a nurse stood by her. The daughter said, "Oh, I thought I'd bring William along, you know, just to have a chat to Mum." And the nurse smiled. "Now that's nice, might help." The daughter disappeared and the nurse took off to see to her other duties. So I stood talking to this woman and I suddenly remembered her. She was a very nice woman who would hold Tupperware parties and listen to Scottish music. Her favourite was Andy Stewart and his tale of the Scottish soldier who lay dying in a foreign land. It was okay, but she played it about 20 times the hour. And then there was two scary-looking young men with shaggy hair and huge hedge-like sideburns who wore kilts, carried accordions like they were battle axes, and were smiling the smiles of the British Isles, namely there were more teeth missing than pieces of a second-hand jigsaw puzzle. And they were called the Highland Lads. So I would go to these events with my mother and would sit on the steps and be fed pineapple juice and little white sandwiches that smelt of fish. And now I talked to her. She lay in a hospital bed. I remembered she would sometimes come and lean over me at these Tupperware parties and say in her sweet Scottish voice, "Now are you happy, lad?" But now from the hospital bed she looked up at me and occasionally seemed to recognise me. But more often than not, she looked slightly pained. I thought she was staring off into the future, contemplating the life, what was left of it. And then I suddenly thought, oh, she's trying to remember who I am. She's got no idea who I am. So I prattled on. But she spoke only once, and she said, "My girl wanted to go fetch some food for tea tonight at Coles." And she spoke to me in that sweet, purring Scottish voice. Her daughter just wanted to go to the shops and thought I could be useful. Well, that was all right, so I stood over her and droned on and on about my wonderful and exciting life in the arts, and I soon ran out of topics, and I reached for something else to say. I happened to see a magazine on a desk by the lady's bed, and on the cover, of all things, was me. And I picked it up and I said, "Look, there's me. I've just won this award." The old lady looked at me for a bit, and I said it again, and then she let out an ear-splitting fart. The nurse came back in, and the old lady smiled at her. And the nurse said, "Oh, that's better." The nurse rummaged under the bedclothes and peered into a bedpan. "Oh, well done," she said. "You're very handy, William, aren't you? You're more effective than a suppository." So I can proudly boast to you all that my acting, thanks to the inspiration given to me here at Central Queensland, or the old Capricornia Institute of Advanced Education, burnished a bit at Whopper, and then honed through 20 or so years of professional work, does indeed give people the shits. Or, if I'm trying to dress it up a little bit, my performance and talent has the power to move people deeply. Now, you guys, you the graduating students, you sit tonight with your new degrees in the presence of your families and friends, and before you are many of your former tutors and teachers. You must remember it's your night. It's a moment for you, and there's nothing wrong with having a moment. You sit here tonight with something else so very precious. For you have something that comes only a few times in a life. You have possibility. Possibility. It's an exciting thing. Before you, there is a career and a life and a journey. And you know, it may not go according to plan, for life can be like that. It can surprise and delight and disappoint. Life can be hard. When my time at your university came to an end all those years ago, I graduated with many other people. I don't know how many went to the graduation. But after all those years of study, and 24 years down the track, many of that graduating year have taken a varying path through life. There are barristers, book editors, journalists, head of an advertising agency, many more. Some are mothers and fathers, husbands, wives, partners. That is their important role, what they consider themselves to be. And there are some who've died. That's how life goes. You can have it all mapped out in your mind ahead of you. Sometimes it won't work that way. If finding a career in this world can be tough, then trying to chart a course through your life can be even tougher. You must remember on your night tonight that life has many cards that may be dealt to you. And not every hand will be a good one. But a bad hand is not necessarily the end of your journey, not the end of your story. There are so many ways to contribute to life, so many ways to embrace it and make it yours. And when that occurs, when you share yourself with your life and the lives of others, life has this little trick of making you its own. And it'll be a wonderful time you have. Remember, you're never too old to think, in the words of Dr. Seuss, oh, the places you'll go. You've achieved much tonight. For yourself, for your families. You deserve a pat on the back, so give yourself one. But just remember to go on. It's a big world out there, and you have many tomorrows. We need you to go on, because you are our tomorrows. And we have hope, and we have faith in you. Good luck to you, one and all, Godspeed.